Okay, what's up, guys? Now, I'm starting to feel like I should do a series where I just kind of talk about the ideas and the history of the CFR and its entire lore system. Right, so it's going to be a bunch of different pieces of stuff we're going to talk about within the system. So today, guys, I've kind of got one thing planned. We're going to start out as far back as CFR lore goes so far, okay? And if I talk to anyone else, I'm currently in a party on Xbox Live working on the official CFR world. Um, so we're going to start talking about humanity and the other races that are originally applicable in the CFR universe and its lore. You find that since I may have said before, guys, that that ideas were taken from books and game series and movies to make the CFR what it was and the entire lore system, we took from the descent the haddal race, and which is similar to humanity, and just humanity. And so the CFR's lore begins out with you have your main Earth area, your center's tile, and you have humanity finally as sort of a lesser race. This is about 40,000 years ago in the game's lore, though there will be this is where it really starts and begins. There's stuff that goes back even farther than that, but we'll get to that another day. Okay, so you have them. Humanity's so not necessarily subservient, but is enslaved at portions in the CFR's lore. And you see that though not all the kingdoms of the CFR have already emerged, you've got major groups. You've got some groups that that were yet to kind of figure out where we're going to place them in the lore system. But you have pretty much the Jair, a Proto-Ferian people, Savinians, and Wyvernians. Okay. Recently, there's been additions to the lore that there's this temple located under the sea. The idea is that the water level used to be lower. South of Feria, in the Great Ocean, dividing it between the outer territories. So there you go, and you find that there was a great battle there in the CFR's lore between haddals and humanity. Now, as we'll show later, haddals were really collapsing from their great empire that had existed 400,000 years ago in the lore system. Okay? And now you've got that, and they're battling to assume a higher role, and not, they just want to enslave humanity, labor, and whatnot in the CFR lore, which is similar to the books we took the idea. Now you see them, they fight on these giant plains, like not airplanes, but like flat piece of land, guys. And for the first point, or rare it is for humanity, they finally unite in the lore. Now we haven't really written out who's going to be who would have been the unifier. At this point, I think they all just kind of came together of their own will. That's what we might go with. We're still working on the lore. We've got so much, 7 years worth of writing. Okay? It's a tremendous amount of work. We add more every day and whatnot, and we're currently working on adding more to the haddal stories, and we'll get to talking about them later. Now, I'm sorry, guys, there is no visuals, okay? This is just me, a black screen you're seeing. Hold up. None of you two touch anything in the game. Like I said, guys, I'm in a party with people. So they fight, really. And haddals is a nearly extinct race. They're pretty much destroyed at this point and forced to the outer territories. And somewhere at an undetermined point yet, the area becomes flooded and forgotten, and they fade into a almost forgotten part of CFR lore, legends. But they did persist a while. Slowly, rare encounters with them, though by pretty much the 3rd century of the more modern times, they died out in the inner territories completely. I mean, they were not a power, they were just rare to find in the subplanet, then in the CFR territory, inner territories. Mostly Savinia was the last place, but as of the last century, though, as you get closer with the CFR lore into fighting them again, as it's been many thousands of years in the lore, there was a battle, and the battle of, in Founder's Land, and, it all ended in human victory, and the government kind of kept it under wraps for a while, but back to that. So humanity defeats them in the battle, and finally, its independence is secured. Since they're no longer a threat over time, they fall into legends, and you see that humanity just fights each other. There's nothing. Everyone forgets. But of course, there are relics left within the CFR territories. You know, if you go under those oceans, you'll find just right outside the main map, though, temples built by the haddals. If you go within it, you'll find fortresses. Cities are also sunken by the coast occasionally that have been built temples and whatnot. So that's just really it. So humanity defeats them. That's all you need to know for now. I'll do more videos. See you guys next time.